Hello.
That was a gratuitous finish. Fucking hell, you could have faded that out quicker.
That was great. How dare
It's really
you? Thank you kindly for the person that made that fingle for us on our Hat Chat episode 98. It was the incorrect name on the thing there. It got reset. Apologies to that. So let me get the correct name 1 second.
Sorry, what I meant to say is it was a gratuitous outro,
not
intro.
It was
long.
fade out.
Dun, dun, and it was good, and I really liked it. I did like the different beat as well, and then the ending was just like huge orchestral finish. Just like I don't think we've built up to that. I don't think
That's not what we deserved.
It hasn't time to brew.
Caleb Rowland, thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Caleb.
The credits will be fixed at the end there. Anyway, welcome to episode 98 of Hat Chat. Here we are, existing.
Yep.
Ready to face the day? Ready to face the weekend? Are we?
Face the bloody
weekend, yeah.
Weekend, yeah. It's been good weather though. Jeez, it's nice.
It's been very nice.
We had one bit of
real taste
rain,
of summer.
and then
In
back to
Bristol,
summer
we've been
again.
tasting summer. Christ, my hay fever has been awful though.
Same.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, and it's awkward
Shit.
because obviously considering the climate and stuff, like sneezing in public, I'm still on edge about doing that.
Yeah.
So, like,
Hay fever!
I suddenly just and I really hate holding a sneeze. It really makes me feel like I'm going to have an aneurysm. I hate doing it. So,
too.
but in public, I kind of feel obliged to just be like, look, it's not that. It's just the bloody pollen.
It's a hay fever. It's just allergy.
And then your eyes just burst.
Yeah.
You catch your nose and just.
It wasn't worth it. Blood coming from my eyes. It wasn't worth it, guys.
Yeah. No, it's been lovely weather, and yeah, I've been going out a lot in it, which is great. I've been going out in all the plants and stuff, all the trees. But yeah, I've just been coming home and just like, oh god, why does the outside hate me?
Yeah.
Just like rinsing my nose with like one of those saline like
Neti pot?
blaster things. Yeah, kind
A
of like
neti
that.
pot?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
actually use the neti pot.
No, I don't use a fucking neti pot. I
No.
use one of those things that you spray up your nose. I use
Is that the thing that you
disposable neti
pour up
pot.
one nose and it comes out the
Yeah.
other?
Pour it
Yeah,
up,
it's just
like, is it for colds or is it just like
it's just for
blocked
anything,
nose?
just for cleaning
Clearing
the
out.
inside of your nostrils. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you use a fresh boil for that?
I've never used one. A boil. You're using boiling water. Jesus Christ. I just
Yeah.
burn the inside of my sinuses.
Well, don't have allergies anymore.
You can get
Perfect.
certain oils hotter than water as well, just so you guys know, FYI for future.
Oh, good.
Good to
Nice,
know.
Okay.
Like
Really scald the skin.
you don't want it to boil.
You do not. I've kind of left it a mystery as to what the hypothetical questions even are for you two.
Wowzers.
Oh,
But our
Fine,
patrons
that's good.
have
I like
chosen.
the surprise.
You like the surprise, do you?
Well, yeah. I try not to look at them anyway, so that I'm caught.
It's
off
fresh.
guard.
Oh,
I'm really,
God.
like,
Not
baffled.
that
Oh, shit,
question.
I can't actually come up with anything.
Well, let me hit you with the first one then, if you're ready. Because as our wonderful
Yeah, I'm ready.
patrons, thank you, patreon.com/chatfilms, for choosing this one as the first one. Do you have a right to be happy, or do you have to earn it?
God.
Yeah.
you don't have to
I
earn
mean-
it. No, you don't have to earn it.
But is it a right?
A right?
No,
I
it's
don't
not a
know.
right either.
I don't
Well,
think
that's not
it's
the question.
right to be
It's a
happy.
state.
It's very confusing. Question.
I mean, if honest answer to my direct answer to that would be like being happy is a state like that you find yourself in. You know, like emotionally or
It's a consequence.
Yeah, it's a consequence of many of the things that you probably want and need. And it's a combo of how much those wants and needs have hold over you. Like everyone has basic needs like shelter, access to food and water, and those are obviously part of it. If you don't have those, you're probably not going to be very happy. But then you got to pile your wants on top of that, right? All of the things that however your brain or whoever you are works are the things that you want. Be that.
I guess it's like something you have to work
things
towards,
or-
isn't it? Really, like you kind of.
So you have to earn it.
If you aren't
what you're
feeling
saying.
happy, potentially, it's not necessarily that you have to earn it, but like I feel like it's something you strive for, isn't it? You don't want to be miserable. You don't want to be unhappy. You want to be in a place where you're happy, content, and comfortable. But that's not always something that comes immediately, right? So in some cases, yeah, you do have to work to a point where you can maybe afford a place you live in that you can be comfortable in, and like Smith says, access to. The
I think there's
basics in
base
life.
wants, but the thing is, right, that like what you're saying is, as in like, say you've never knew about the iPhone 13, say you never knew about a BMW, say you lived in an environment that's a lot more rustic or, you know, not quite the same. I think your happiness would be easier to achieve because of ignorance being bliss. Ultimately.
Yeah, your wants and needs will be different, right?
So what I'm saying is like, yeah, there's the base needs to be happy, which are the survival ones, like the shelter ones. And everything on top of that is essentially your wants influencing your happiness. And like, that's kind of what you're, and so I don't think that you need to, it's not a right and it doesn't need to be earned. It's simply a result of factors on your existence. You can work to achieve it. You can work to achieve it, definitely, I think, because but the thing is, I don't think the work is necessary, because again, it depends how you perceive work. If you manage to create a life where you could walk down to the ocean and you love fishing and you caught fish to eat every day, that wouldn't feel like work. You know, like, I think there is a hypothetical situation that you could engineer where you could be happy and you'd not have to work for that happiness, and it wouldn't be needed as a right, because rights are enshrined in laws and in like cultures and things like that. So again, it doesn't apply. And
do you feel like the way capitalism is, you in a way are kind of forced to earn your happiness in terms of, if you consider, you know, living somewhere safe, comfortable, or whatever, that would be where you would be happy. Obviously, you can try and make do with what you've got, but you're always going to strive for maybe more, or you know, you look over the window, you can see what someone else is going. Oh, that would that make you happy? I don't know. It's like when someone says, if you suddenly won the lottery, would it make you happy? Not necessarily.
Well, it's sold as a lie, isn't it? Like, they're selling happiness as a commodity, which doesn't actually line up with what actually makes us happy. Instead, we're being sold the idea that this product is going to make you happier, which is often not the case, because that's not intrinsically what makes someone happy. But yeah, you know, I feel like
it might make your life easier. Depends what it is.
You could argue you have to earn it, because without striving to get it, like, you're not just inherently getting happiness, are you? You are somewhat earning it through whatever method you're doing. So in a way, you're earning it. You're not like being rewarded for. Well, I guess you are. You're rewarding yourself for fulfilling the needs of your brain. That's like, I'm no longer in danger. There's no survival threat here for me, which is basically what your brain's doing all the time, right? So, and then all my needs are fulfilled. Therefore, I am happy as a consequence of all the other things. And you could argue that modern society has made it easier for us to be unhappy because all our basic needs are met, but we still have the same brain as we did hundreds of thousands of years ago, where we were living for our lives, like surviving. Our brains were wired to survive, right? And fend off problems and be constantly on alert for things. And when we're in modern society where I can have my arse cleaned by some nice water, and there's no real threat.
Sings your song and says, "Thank you, Chris Trott, for your heavy load today."
Yeah, exactly. And then it weighs it, and I've got an app that shows the graph.
Today.
Great job. Does that inherently cause more unhappiness because your brain is now looking for more threats?
I don't know.
That don't exist. That's where anxiety comes from.
Yeah, oh God, I mean, this question could be unpacked into a million fucking things.
That's why we do it on Hat Chat.
It's a definition of what happiness is.
We're never going to get an answer for anyone. Yeah, exactly.
Does it
is pleasure equate to happiness? Like, you know, do you have to be? What about boredom? You can be happy and bored, and then want to have something to fill that time. You can still be happy, but you know, you can buy a product that might entertain you.
Can happiness and boredom go together, though?
I don't know. I don't think.
Are you happy if you're bored?
I think they're different things. I think so. You can be happy and content,
like a Venn diagram.
Like, well, but not be entertained by something, or want something to kind of, you know, put a bit of spice in your life without. I wouldn't say I'm unhappy, but it'd be nice to have, you know, a really cool sports car or whatever. Like, that would just be fun. It'd be something different. But I'm not unhappy without it. It would be extreme for me to say, oh, my life is unhappy unless I have this, you know, materialistic thing that won't change my life.
I guess.
But then you talk about a phone where it's like, you know, this is a device that you use all the time. It can do multiple things for you. You know, you can use it for business, pleasure, whatever. that's a function that it's saving me time as well in many other ways.
It's all holistic, though. The reality is, it's all holistic. This is why it's so intangible, because having a phone, like a really good phone, doesn't produce happiness. Happiness doesn't fall out of the phone. No. And yeah, arguably, social media makes people incredibly unhappy. But what it does do is it builds a picture of an existence that you get ambient happiness from. So like that's where it's really coming from. So you don't need a sports. You'd like a sports car, but you don't need one, or you don't want to get one right now, and that's fine. However, if enough things in your life became unsatisfactory, you might look to buy a sports car to put it back into that balance of like happiness or satisfaction, right? Like this is why it's so complicated, because it's not one thing, it's a holistic thing. You treat the whole thing rather than a specific, and that's why. And I don't think and I think it's fine to do that. I think that you're in, like you were saying earlier, and it's right. The original way I put it was based on like a theoretical, like as in a person could exist and not need to earn the right or to be given it as a right. But you're right, we don't live in that world. We live in a completely different world, and like the context of our like societal structure and the way we spend money and how that's linked with happiness, how we perceive other people, and like how it's actually measurable now that we care more about other people's opinions than our own. And like all these things is completely changing the way that happiness will then exist in our minds as a state and as an objective. Like for me, I think it's definitely, I would find it hard to call myself happy if I was bored, like you were saying earlier, because for me in particular, I think a lot of my happy state comes from being engaged and being stimulated by something. And the other thing about me is that needs to be quite varied. Like I need a lot of variety. I find it hard to focus on one thing. And that's kind of part of who I am. And other people will much prefer to address a challenge or a problem by focusing entirely on just that. And then other people don't like problem solving at all as a font of happiness. You know, like some people, I quite enjoy fixing a problem or achieving a solution or whatever, but I think a lot of people also are very happy not having to fix a problem, you know, as in just empty braining it. Like I feel like I'm either one or the other. I love to either be very engaged with something or completely empty brain. Like those are like my two happy states.
Well, having no worries is kind of the core thing to happiness, right? And obviously a lot of that does boil down to the simple things in life, like people need money. You need money to live, to feel secure and in the future, and not go, okay, well, you know, if you're living paycheck to paycheck and it's all going out to bills every month, you might not be that happy. And that's why when people say, oh, money would solve your problems, in most cases it would, really. In the most basic form it would. But obviously I think it's still important to keep good relationships and I don't know, build upon those things for a solid kind of base of happiness. But
you need it all. You really do. You need a bit of everything, ideally. Because like money is essentially compressed time, and that's why a lot of the time and compressed effort or work. And so that's why it solves a lot of problems. But some things it just physically can't solve. Like, you know, there are some elements to, you know, emotional and physical elements to being a human being that money does not fix. And those are the things that you need to also maintain in order to be happy. And that's why money isn't everything. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's not something I'd lose sleep over, whether or not happiness is a right or happiness should be earned. It's sort of the result of, I don't know,
a variety of things, right?
Yeah, it's very difficult, intangible thing.
But interesting question there, Trott.
Yeah.
Did you just come up with that one, or did you find that one somewhere?
Found it tattooed on someone's back. So I'm gonna have to go back to them and say
they weren't happy.
Neither, actually. Neither. So yeah, that was interesting for sure. I'm sure we could talk about that until the end of time.
There's a lot of avenues I can go down.
But I've got probably one that's going to go deeper, unfortunately, for you guys.
Jeez.
I know we like to get existential here, but here we go. I hope you're ready. Would you have your legs sawn off if you could fly and hover instead?
Well, you have to wait. Hang on. So So you have to get your legs sawn off
in order
to do
to
that
fly
other
and
thing.
hover. Yeah.
You're becoming like a hover bot. There's got to be a character in pop culture that's like this. Who would be a good example?
I don't know.
Oh,
For some reason, I'm picturing Go-Go
Rygo
Gadget.
from Farscape. Is that his name? You know, the little
Right.
like toad thing from Farscape who always goes, I think he's called like Right. I can never quite remember his name. But
So he hovers with no legs.
yeah, he's in a little hover chair the whole time.
What's his name?
Rigel, Rygel, I think.
Is there a chance to try this service before you do the leg thing? Because I feel
It's a
like
one-way thing. Sorry.
It's a one-way thing. So
You're guaranteed to hover.
Do it beforehand, and you're like, well, that looks really cool. There's a convenience level to it, sure, but it's also, I mean, the main thing it's stripping you of is basic access to a lot of things that you would normally do.
But you can just fly and hover.
be like this guy.
instead.
How are you flying? Okay, so what's the mechanism for flying?
Hovering.
Are you just hovering? You're hovering in one spot.
Yeah.
So you
Where
can
your
just-
legs used to
is there
be.
Is there a device, or is it just literally you can? That's a sacrifice.
The,
So you sacrifice
the
your legs
technology is
and you
beyond
hover.
you, but you invested heavily into this really strange
Right.
company that seems really ahead of its time, and you end up
Right.
just
So it's
hovering.
not like a rotor. It's not like a drone technology above my head. It's literally I can now hover.
You can hover as well as your legs
fuck,
could
like-
walk.
I think that's a pretty. I mean, God, I wouldn't do it.
You'd
But
never
then there's a
trip
lot of
up
things-
again, Ross.
Could
How
you
often do
fly
you
at
think I
any
trip
height?
up?
Could you fly at any height as
Yeah,
well?
that's the interesting part. Yeah.
I don't
high
know.
What's your altitude?
I
You
don't
don't know. These are boundaries. that
Can
push
you
through.
can you fly with your legs? I reckon it should be exactly the same height as you were, just hovering instead.
What if you could just be a little bit taller in general? Like your
You have to really like force it, and sometimes you follow through. But if you like squeeze all of your abdomen, you could probably get a couple inches. Yeah.
We've kind of had a similar question before. Where we said, I don't know if it was on a hat chat, maybe it was on one of our
Probably.
videos, but where we said if bionic technology got to a point where like you could replace your arms and legs with these amazing technology which you can update and they get faster and stronger and stuff, would you do it? And you still would kind of say no, only because you're
Depends what
still
it
quite
is.
comfortable with
Yeah, at the moment with your working
functioning
body.
body.
It has to be better in every way.
Yeah.
To like, I have to have the exact same sensations, I think, for my brain to comprehend having a robot arm. Like, I'd want to be able to like have squishy bits, for example, and like the amount of nerve endings in my fingertips and stuff like that. I could do without fingernails. Like, they're
You're
annoying.
gonna have to get rid of those.
Actually,
They
I
are
could have
kind of annoying,
scratches.
aren't they?
I'm still waiting for a toenail to drop off. It's gone completely black now.
Send
It's
us
still
picture.
there. I don't.
Send me a picture.
Do you want a picture?
Yeah, send me a picture.
Oh God. Okay.
Can you get a little bit of a peel going? Do you think? You want to peel a little
I think
bit?
I could.
Why do you want pictures of this sort of thing?
Lift a peely boy.
Why are you into that?
So
It's
in
weird.
response to the initial question,
I do
yes,
have a picture.
I would.
Should I show
would
the
remove
audience,
my
or-
legs for the ability to hover.
Imagine like
looks-
just.
Here's my ugly toe.
I didn't want to see it.
That's a beast.
I didn't want to see it.
That's a beast.
Ah, if you watch that on Twitch, and
it's like
Hat Chat
pure
YouTube
black
channel, you
toenail.
can see my ugly toenail right there. That's a reason to watch alone. I don't know if it's gonna fall off. It feels strong and sturdy. I've had a little tug at it. It's sturdy.
It's on there.
man.
It's just full of blood
Oh.
underneath the surface.
Is it blood underneath? I think so.
It is
I don't know
definitely.
what
That's
else
what,
it
that's
is.
what it is.
Necrosis
Maybe-
is starting to.
Oh god, you got gangrene.
Yeah, no, it'll just be like blood scab,
Yeah.
scab essentially underneath. No,
What you need to
for
do is
ages
Get
had
a
a really
safety pin and then just dink it in the top and then.
it'll be congealed by now,
Give
definitely.
those tiny little screws on just into the middle of the nail.
I got a
Drills.
I got a hammer drill we could use.
Yeah, you have a hammer drill.
which I can't
No, I think
use.
I'm okay. From the way you're thrusting with it, I'm okay. I think my toe will thank you not to do that.
I had a curve in one of my toes for
Yeah.
ages.
A
and I
curve.
was
So wait,
like,
hang on. What, like a little ridge in the middle?
like a dip and then a raised bit on the side, like
Wow.
right in the middle. So it raised one of the sides up like a wave. And for ages, I was just like, why is this toe so fucky? And I think at some point it must have got like crushed. And
Did
I
you
didn't
get a
realize.
hammer to it? Reset.
I don't know. But like the other day, I was like picking at like the bit of the curve.
Wow. Oh,
And
God,
I was
yeah.
like, and then just a little bit just peeled up. like painlessly, totally painlessly. It peeled
Is this
up.
the toe you sucked on camera once?
No, this is a slightly smaller
Fucking
toe.
hell.
Okay.
And
Trott doesn't like this.
it peeled like up totally painlessly, and what it had done was it was just on top of another nail Trott. There wasn't any blood or
I don't
sensitivity or
give a
anything.
shit
So I
about
just
how
peeled
nice
the
and
whole
easy it was.
top
It's
of this
still
nail off.
disgusting.
And just imagine just peeling painlessly half of one of your nails off of your toe, and just how sort of bizarre that experience to be, where you're just like, this looks awful, but feels fine.
I'm sure it
And,
is really satisfying, to be fair. Like popping
Now I've got
spots
a
is
flat toe.
disgusting when you see
Again.
someone
Someone's asking how I did that to my toe. We were airsofting, and we were on those top bits. There's those metal kind of domes on the floor.
Yeah.
Those iron kind of seals. I just literally just completely shunted that with the front of my foot, and I had steel toe caps on, so I guess I just literally put all my force
onto the steel toe cap.
Oh.
This is the
I just
problem.
felt a shunt. I was like, oh fucking hell, because that's all I had at the time. Was
That's
those
so
boots.
bad. You must have so crammed, because that's the problem with steel toe caps, is they're great for avoiding crushing force, but for things like that, you end up just smacking your toes into the steel in your boot. This is why you need to get some different shoes.
But like when I was a kid, I dropped a paving slab on my right toe, and that nail came off like within a couple of days, and then it just grew back a fresh one. And
Oh,
like,
fresh one.
I've had
well,
that.
not nice and fresh. It had little like kind of like lines.
Yeah, I've got lines
I'm
on
not sure
one
what
that got removed. I think they just
And
grow
grown
back
good.
weird.
Weird.
You're not eating enough. I don't know, vitamins.
Calcium or I don't
Yeah,
know.
there's all sorts of things that
I
can
love
cause
my milk,
crinkly
mate.
nails.
I love a
It's not
milkshake.
calcium. It's not calcium. Your nails are made of keratin, which I don't think is necessary.
Ketamine?
Not
Ketamine?
ketamine. Your nails are not made of ketamine or the highly flammable kerosene. Here are other things that
sound like
keratin. Is this cake got keratin?
Nice.
Right. Anyway.
Disgusting toe talk. That's done.
So you'd opt
Where
out.
were we?
You would never stub your toe again, Ross, if you hovered.
This is true. This is exactly what I'd avoid. Okay,
Also,
I'm going for it. I'm going for the hover system 1.0.
There's so many
early
benefits.
Adopter,
Yeah, you're gonna
all
regret
the
it.
risk is on me.
Where's your dick gonna go?
It will
it's
just
gonna
flop
hang low,
underneath.
isn't it?
Oh, and your balls.
have,
So your
like, I'm
balls
just
and dick
wearing
just
nappy.
hang from
just out.
nowhere.
Yeah.
What an awful way to do
Exposed.
it.
I'd make
Why?
a little nest to hover in.
Yeah.
Maybe like Dr. Robotnik.
It really is like Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah.
I mean, why is the hovering part of the hovering is linked to the fact that dick and balls are out? So without the dick and balls being out, you're just
God, I don't
not
know if
gonna
I would.
hover.
I don't know if it depends. If I'm the first adopter, I don't think I'd want to do it. I mean, God, just wandering around, everyone's going to stare at you because you're like hovering, and like that's really obvious.
Is it sound?
Jesus Christ, that guy's hovering. Is he? Yeah, just hovering.
Is it
with
silent
that futuristic-
hovering, or is it like really loud jet
It
turbine
actually makes
hovering as well?
footstep noises. It's weird.
Oh, that's so
Like
dumb.
artificial
As if you're
footstep
wearing like
noises.
hard-soled shoes.
And it's
Do you
always
think
on.
people would find it less
sand.
weird if you told them that your legs were invisible, like instead of the fact you're hovering? It's like, oh no, I'm
Wait,
not
you
hovering.
can't see them?
My legs.
I'll just hang trousers.
Oh, I'm just wearing
so-
camo.
And they'll just drag.
Really good camo.
Just really
This
active
is just
camo.
a sequel. These are tiny sequins.
I mean, it sounds crazy. But,
I'd do it, I think.
You'd go. Okay.
I'd absolutely would. Because I can think of so many benefits. I wouldn't need a chair anymore because I'm hovering.
Yeah. Well,
I would-
I mean,
Sure.
does it use energy to move? Because if it doesn't use energy to move as well, you've just created an energyless transport system, which
I think
is
it would
ridiculous.
take as
Would
much
that cause
calorie
issues
burn
elsewhere
as
though,
walking.
exercise-wise? Yeah.
I feel like it would.
Oh yeah, you'd have to do upper body exercise. Yeah.
You'd have to do like phantom walking in your mind. You'd have to like
Oh, so you'd have to think about it.
think about
Could you
moving.
Could you speed it up? If I could think
Oh,
about
man.
moving
Yeah,
really
you start
fast.
jogging, start running. Yeah. Boom. And then you're going.
What if you have to blink left and then look left,
Can I
blink,
float on
look
water?
right for each step?
You have to
Christ.
use your eye. But what about cover like just spanning over bodies of water?
Yeah, you can just
Yeah.
hover over it. Yeah.
Fuck that bridge.
Yeah, but Ross, would you go over big seas thinking that at any point a shark could come up and strike you from underneath? Like, you wouldn't
No,
do
you
it, would
absolutely
you?
wouldn't.
not
No.
over seas, no. But over over any body of water, honestly, I'd be scared to. But if you could do it, and you're fine over like let's
The
say I'm
Thames?
crossing the Thames or something. Yeah, I'm like,
Mhm.
the bridges are busy, and I just don't want to walk up. I don't want to float all the way up that way. I'll float across.
Yeah. So
But
imagine
if
you
I
There's
can
a lot
float
of upsides.
upwards to the point of like I don't know the tallest building,
Mm.
that's insane.
you're flying now, and
That's
I think you're
Superman
taking
level.
liberties with the concept of hovering.
Well, okay.
I can
So I still have to go in a
I-
lift.
Yeah, of
I
course.
really, really, really hope that I live to see the day where we get personal air transport, because that
Yeah.
will make me so happy, because it's just going to be so fun. Like,
It's
imagine
going
all
to be
these...
so dangerous to begin with.
It's going to be so
The
dangerous. People are going to
collisions.
be like falling out of the sky, like
So the personal drones. Have you seen them? There's one like little pod drones.
I,
I
don't
feel
think
like we have
that's it
to
for me.
perfect autopilot in cars first before we
Before
can
we-
give like.
Oh no, I'm
flight.
willing to take some of the risk first, but like I just want there to be affordable access to it, because right now the cheapest way for me to learn to fly is probably like 5 to 10 grand, and that's using a paraglider. Like I want to be able to like buy like these electric scooters that everyone's got now. I want that, but it's a hover scooter.
Right.
Like a bit like Back to the Future, like the hoverboards, for example. I mean, I'd be happy with one of those. Some
wouldn't need-
A
frictionless.
hoverboard, yeah.
You wouldn't need
That'd be
any of those
cool.
devices if you just opted out of having legs and just capped off below the belt buckle with a nice little dome.
Yeah, and if I can fly, well, fucking
Little
dome.
dome
Man,
with
this is gonna be such an ugly setup, isn't it? I'm
It's
gonna
a
turn up to
dome.
look like a fucking Doctor Who villain.
And if you look
Like
directly
a Neo over
underneath,
there, like-
it'll be
Yeah.
a convex piece of glass that magnifies your balls and dick. And there's RGB lighting on the inside, kind of like
Wow.
the
Okay.
Razor.
If I was walking my dog and he starts tugging, how do I have the strength to push back? Is there a hover system to like?
You can
go the
resist
other
as
way,
well as
or is
your
he then
legs
just,
could.
He can just pull me wherever. I'm a floating
Yeah.
object.
That's a really good point.
You're like a
there's
helium
no
I need to
friction.
know how I'm gonna like resist against him. I'm like, oh, he's about to go, towards trash or something, or another dog that doesn't want it.
You can have an anchor system so it fires
Okay.
a rope directly down into the ground.
So
Then
do you
you're
mind if I
anchored.
fire a high-powered harpoon into this pavement here?
I'm anchored in. I don't think you appreciate how often Murphy tugs. That would just be me constantly
Just making
anchoring in.
holes everywhere.
Yeah, he just wants to go everywhere, man. It's his birthday today.
Is
Happy
it?
birthday,
Yeah.
Murph.
He was
Wow.
born today, 2 years ago. He's
Amazing.
a 2-year-old boy.
Amazing.
I'll give him a big treat later.
Pets say what they like.
I give him treats all the time. That's it. Why are you giving me that face, man?
That was
Give
a
me
We've got,
weird-
we've got a
I'm
birthday
gonna give him a
plan.
big treat later. I'm gonna
He's
give him
gonna
a
get
giant
big
bone
treat.
later. I'm
It's
gonna
his
massive
birthday.
bone later
What are you
on.
gonna do? Give him a blowjob?
I'm gonna give him a big bone. Take that.
What the fuck?
However
What
you
the
want.
fuck happens on your lizard's birthdays?
Yeah, right. You're like, well, my birthday. Normally I do this.
They don't have
Give my
penises,
fucking
all right?
lizard a
They have
blowjob.
cloacas.
Cloacas.
Impossible.
Tiny holes.
They have to enter
He's
me.
tried. He's tried. No, I'll give him a little treat. A dog treat.
You should go to
Very
Pets
fair.
at Home and go
Nice.
to the little birthday section and get a dog-friendly cake
A
or
dog-friendly
cupcake.
cake. I made him one last year. It was massive, and he loved it. But
You can
a
get
lot of
dog
effort,
wine
man.
too.
it was a lot of carrot. Dog wine.
Do the dogs know they're drinking wine?
No.
That's the thing. I think they don't know. I think he would rather literally just have like a big old juicy bone with like meat on it and stuff, and that would be.
It's more for the owner, isn't it? Really, if you're getting like,
It
oh, I'm
is,
gonna
it's
put him in a
very
little
much-
party hat and give him a
Yeah.
little cake because it's so human. It's funny.
And a glass of dog wine, because sometimes you need just something to take the edge off, don't you?
Yeah.
It's been a hard
Dog wine.
fucking day.
It's
It's
Get me a
still,
glass of
What
dog
the percentage
wine.
is nuts.
God, it's like 70%. It's insane.
Oh man, he's
Yeah,
over here
right,
off
dog.
his tits.
Oh, I better not drive after this.
Yeah.
He looks
Nice.
over to his dog car that you've also bought.
Oh god.
See, he's going to find it harder to be happy with all these material things in his life.
Mm,
He
you're
needs
right.
his dog wine and his dog car just to feel like all the other dogs
Yeah.
living a ridiculous
Am
life.
I able to drive properly, or do I need to get a special fitted car if I've got the,
You'll get
the hover system?
you'll get given a car
right.
that
Wow, free
is.
car.
Also, you can get cars which you don't necessarily require pedals, but it's just
Mhm.
that's an extra cost and setup. So is that
there's
have I
that-
hindered myself here? Or am
No,
I gonna have
you
to
can,
hover everywhere?
It's a built-in package system that if you go for the hover hoverbod, we're
Yeah.
calling it
Hoverbot. That's the working
Hovbod.
title.
hoverbod.
Or
They'll upgrade your car to work with the hover system, and you can
Mhm.
choose whether it's telepathic accelerating and braking,
Yeah.
or if it's like with your hands.
telepathic. Okay, now that we're getting into telepathy, that's another avenue that would be interesting to go down. But like someone's like, why would you want to drive if you can float? Well, what if you wanted to take things with you somewhere? What if you want to go long distance and you're just floating around on the motorway? Like what?
Oh, you mean just like floating without a vehicle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good chance that we might have cybernetic implants in our lifetime now because of the whole.
Maybe we've got them right now. We just don't know.
We've all had the vaccine a few times.
Oh shit! I see what you mean. Yeah, maybe nanobots are inside us building all sorts of things. Probably not though. No. I don't think they'd waste nanobots on me. Yeah.
What if we've been severanced and we don't even know it? God, I woke up so tired this morning and we don't know why.
Why does everyone need to know everything, Trott? Why can't we just all be empty brain for half our working day? You know? Yeah. Why do you need to know? Yeah. But anyway, what if, like, you know, because right now I can boil my kettle by speaking to a Google Home, or I can use my phone.
I find that so funny because, like, you still have to fill it up.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
So it's like, what's the point?
Because you can fill it up before you get up in the morning. Yeah. Before you go to bed, you fill it up, and then when you get up in the morning, you're like, "I'll boil the kettle before I get out of bed."
There are conveniences, yeah. Like,
okay, all right.
Unrealistic, I guess.
It's not that absurd. Like, it's not that absurd. I do agree though. Like, if it could be self-filled as well, even better. And if I had my own home, I could probably plumb one in, but then you have to wash it and all that shit. Anyway,
would you ever get an arm fitted that would start just? I think I've seen them in like tech shows where they have.
Oh, yeah, they're like
helper.
Yeah,
which like grabs things from shelves and cupboards and like does.
You know what I'd mainly use that for?
Of course.
I'd use it. I'd program like a joke mode into it, so that when somebody else was using the kitchen, I'd be able to leave, put it in joke mode, so it would just go make an absolute fucking robot powered mess in the kitchen. You're like, just like all the arms and hands are all like mixing cakes and throwing shit everywhere. Yeah. And then I come back and I'm just like, it's almost like a hidden camera show, right? And I can be like, what happened? And I would love to see the person at the time just going, oh my God, this robot is destroying this kitchen.
Well, you blame on the robot, wouldn't you?
And it cleans it all up.
Cleans it right up. I think cybernetics, I think we are genuinely, you know, not very far at all from being able to teach devices how to recognize certain thoughts or waves, right? At the moment, it's having to use like deep brain stuff and like things that involve surgical intervention. But eventually, we'll probably develop enough technology to sort of get it so it'll be the equivalent of an Apple Watch, or it'll be the equivalent of like, you know, something you choose to wear or have on you, like a little magnetic clip behind your head or something. And essentially, you'll be able to perform many of the functions that you would normally whip your phone out for or reach for a remote control. And then all of it will just be something you can think about doing instead. And it'll mean that you can live in a much sort of quicker, more convenient way, I think, ultimately. Paying for things using a field around you rather than having to tap. I can see how all of these things could happen in a reasonable amount of time. So
a robot chef, I would buy a robot chef.
But have you seen that? What they actually look like? This is why I find it funny.
Well, the giant, like they look like
giant
arms on a rail.
Yeah, and everything has to be in set boxes, otherwise it can't find it. Like, we are so far from that kind of thing.
Of course, but like,
get Boston Dynamics and an M4 in your kitchen.
Load up a load of recipes. Oh, Gordon Ramsay's introduced another one. Have that one.
Yeah.
Bam, and then just like, is it ready yet? He's just sorted it all out for me. And that's one less thing I need to learn.
Also, so if it's like the Boston Dynamic robot, they could bring it up to you on like their back on a tray. Yeah. And then also, fuck it. I've got gaming to do.
You would fuck it too, fair enough.
I'd fuck it.
And the gaming you're doing, by the way, will be like ultra immersive. Like, you know, you're essentially stepping into, you know, a completely realized version of the Hunger Games where you can't die, but you have fun with your mates running around in environments that are incredibly realistic. Like,
speaking
of the world outside
features,
will have to go to hell for all this to happen, for all the resources we'd probably need. You could. And honestly, Ross, I can see that happening. This is also fun about sci-fi shows, I find. Like, you get to explore these some more basic ideas of like you say, imagine all these famous
enjoy those features.
These famous chefs can upload and like, whilst now you have to like watch their YouTube channel or watch their morning cooking show.
And it's satisfying watching them cook it, but I want to eat that fucking food.
Yeah, exactly. You could watch the Great British Bake Off, and every single recipe that's cooked in the Great British Bake Off could be fed to your robot in the kitchen to make you that cake. Because I always say that Great British Bake Off is missing a trick where they could schedule each of the bakes and have Paul or Prue or whoever create that dish and deliver it to you each week with like a
those,
you know how like
HelloFresh style,
works.
yeah.
Exactly.
That
And
you
so
get the
each time
recipe,
you watch the
follow
show,
along.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're missing.
That's a big. That could be a big. I mean, it would cost a lot. But
Yeah.
I think people would.
I pay for it though.
I think people would.
Yeah.
If you combine those two massive names, I think that could work. Even if it was just literally HelloFresh combining with Great Bake Off.
Great British Bake Off.
I think people would be like, yeah, I'm having a slice of that cake that I saw the week before.
What if, right? I'm taking this idea of just one of them's interested me from chat. Instead of that, right? 50% of people get that. Amazing. The other 50% get a novelty version of it and they don't know if it's real or not.
Like a placebo cake.
Is it cake?
And they cut into it and it's
Is it cake delivery?
It's not cake.
But the problem is because
it's not cake. Fuck! I hate this.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks exactly
it's
like
not
the
even
thing.
That they get the thing or cake. It's like we don't get cake, and now we get a cake that I'm guessing it's made of plastic.
Yeah.
I don't
Hey,
know.
my new train has arrived. It's cake.
It's just cake.
Fuck.
Would you opt in for like every Amazon purchase you make for a year? There's a 20% chance you get a cake replica instead.
I would opt in for on someone else's behalf, like, as in like I would do it to someone else as a funny like kind of that would be hilarious. As long as they, I mean, yeah, sure, they can get their order a little bit later, but like it could be a cake and it's just like get kicks out of that. If I had a roommate and I did that, that'd be funny as fuck.
I just got a new monitor and it's all fucking cake.
But it looks real. It looks like a real monitor. What hurts is it? It doesn't. It's a cake.
It's a cake.
It tastes great, but Jesus.
Imagine if this didn't work. Imagine if none of this works like you're expecting it to work.
It looks like it should work.
And instead it doesn't work, but you can eat it. Well, it's I just ate lunch, but
I don't know what to think.
What did you?
And you're saying that I still. This was a 500-pound monitor.
It came with a cable. Did you plug in the cable? The cable is cake. I've got a display.
It's licorice.
This is very creative and impressive, but I need to do some work.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
And then you press down to turn your computer on, and then your hand sinks into it. Oh, you changed that for cake as well.
Oh, my mouse is jelly.
Talking of the future and having these ultra immersive gaming sessions, have you seen old Zucky playing around with the VR headset that's coming out at the end of the year? Codename Cambria. Project Cambria. Let me put the video on in the background muted.
Looks like he's squatting.
God.
Sorry,
here he is. Shitting. So he himself, I think, is AI of some sort. Yeah. They still need to perfect that, but they have a little demonstration at some point.
Yeah.
So it's a headset, as you'd expect. I think it's more tailored towards industrial, like prosumer to like business level. It's got full color pass through. And it's kind of like, it's called like XR, where it's like you're not seeing through glass, but you can see the world around you, and therefore augmented reality can be put onto that. You're basically looking at cameras, but those cameras are like high definition enough. You got pass through on the Quest at the moment. It's all like black and white. That, but like much higher detail and color. Okay. So it seems interesting. He does a little demo at some point. It's just a sit down talk this one.
And to what end? So this is obviously like coming off the back of the metaverse idea.
Yeah.
What is it just a case of just enhancing the current gen VR?
Yeah. They've doubled down, tripled down on VR XR being the future. So there's not going anywhere anytime soon. I think they think this hybrid of VR and augmented reality is the future. And whether it's going to be a headset where you don't look with your own eyes, you get cameras instead, or there is a pass-through feature that's real and you can see through it, and then stuff's put on top of it. That's...
I mean, we're actually in a luxurious position to actually have the device, the Oculus Rift, or whatever they call it now.
Quest 2.
The Meta Quest 2.
Meta Quest 2. How often have you used it recently?
I used it the other day.
Used it the other day.
A couple of days ago.
I used it. I mean,
I literally have mine right here. I use it.
you have
for
used
flight.
it recently?
I use it for flight sim. Yeah.
but how often are you using that? Like in the way that they're kind of hoping
God,
people use
no,
them?
not very often. Like
So we
maybe
have
like
access
twice
to them,
a
but
week.
like it's not like it's impressive and it's fun to use and it's nice to see where it's going. But like, I think
It's not
got
the
a
main
long way.
event, is it?
No, I think it's got a long way to go.
Yeah,
until
it's still
people
primitive,
literally whack
for
these
sure.
bad boys on and use them as often as I think they want people to use them, probably as much as people use their smartphones. But that headset.
Also,
I
this
don't
looks
think
total
people will
shit. Whatever
whack
that
'em
was is
Yeah,
not
that
selling
was
me
very-
the headset. Why the
Yeah.
fuck did they show that?
It's showing
Oh,
the
because it
augmented
runs around the
reality.
environment.
Yeah, it's picking up the environment and it's like in your world. So
I like that. That's cool. That's cool. I like
Yeah.
how
And
it changed to a thing
the
there.
fact
but
that you can like take notes here in the real world,
Okay.
and then you've got your screens
Yeah,
from your
that's fine.
desktop around you in your world as well.
now do a full workout with a VR headset on. Cool.
Yeah, I've tried that.
Mark Zuckerberg. God.
What
Sway.
about the HoloLens? Is that still a thing?
I feel like that's
The HoloLens, which was like
still
supposed to be
being
about
developed. I
augmented
feel like
reality
they've
as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
No,
know.
so HoloLens has been in use for several years. It
not
has.
really
Like I
taken
remember
off, has
seeing
it?
them at Microsoft when we were there in Reading, like 3 years ago. There was a whole bunch of them hung up on a wall.
Okay.
No, I think they are. I think that thing you were talking about the other day, Trot, like the 15 grand super powered one they use
Crazy
for
one, yeah.
those I think are being used. I think they just aren't in a hurry to like Meta's clearly trying to dominate the consumer market, whilst I think the Microsoft don't really give a shit, seemingly. And
Well, they're renting out to like
pursue.
massive car companies and stuff so they can show their concept cars in the showroom with people and be like, oh, you can like break open this car and look at all the engine pieces flying around you and stuff, and just really impress shareholders and investors and stuff. I imagine that's what it's for.
Yeah, I think Microsoft is just happy being the like
Experimental,
traditional slow mover, whilst Meta's trying to be this kind of like we will dominate, we will destroy, blitzkrieg.
Get the future now.
Yeah, I mean Zuckerberg's such a fucking weirdo, isn't he? And like the whole company is scary, frankly. I mean, social media is actively making people less happy. It's definitely like there's measurable research to say that it does happen. Like I don't know who the fuck knows. I think people will eventually stop caring so much about it. But it's great. Like this tech is really cool. I just don't really. I think none of us do. Like the cult of personality that's attached to it. Like we don't need this dude with like the worst haircut I've ever seen, disingenuously talking to some random shill that's sat in a house neither of them own for anything other than video production. Like it's just perverse as fuck, isn't it? It's just like go back into the shadows, sell us crazy exotic technology shit, but don't try and pretend that this isn't weird and fucked up in numerous ways. But no, I'm looking forward to it, Chris. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned weird, fucked up, and futuristic things, because one of the stories I have from the funny news section, which you can't show.
Okay.
Please don't show this on screen.
Right.
But the headline is Madonna reveals
I've
fully
seen
nude
this.
NFTs and a shocking 3D model of her vagina.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was
in
there.
that's one of them. She worked with Beeple, who I believe sold
a
really expensive NFT.
He was at that prime time NFT. Yeah.
They're one of the most successful, I think.
They're a multi-millionaire now because of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. And so it says the 63-year-old singer teamed up with non-fungible token extraordinaire Beeple to create a series of X-rated graphics showing her fully nude. I say her. It doesn't look like her. It just looks like a fucking sex doll. It doesn't have much of a resemblance to her face. Although I guess maybe it does now. She does look pretty kind of robotic now, to be honest. Have you seen her recently?
No, I've not.
She's kind of something's happened there. Anyway, she's called this the Mother of Creation. And it's gonna be sold for charity, which is, one reason I guess not to hate on NFTs in this scenario, but it's still I still don't get NFTs fully. I don't think I feel like buy one. The hype's starting to die down. At least I'm not seeing as much of it. This is probably the first thing I've seen in a while about it. And
I feel
all the
like
works
this
were
is
conceived with a 3D scan, so they were scanned of her. So if you did want to see Madonna's vagina, I'm sure you can see it in other places as well. But yeah, you can see it in the 3D form on her NFTs. So yeah, kind of odd, very surrealist images. And again, I would show you. Oh, she's birthing a tree in one of them.
She births a tree.
Yeah, there's a tree coming
See
out.
them I've already right-clicked, print screen some of them. So
Nice.
You've kept those. So you got the NFTs.
I'm not signing up for charity though.
Lol.
And butterflies are coming out of them as well. Oh, brilliant. There's a lot of nature involved here. Very strange. But yeah, bit of a combination of the metaverse there and Madonna's vagina.
I feel like this is Madonna trying to retain some relevancy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, selling it for charity,
I don't know why she's still hungry for it.
Because I guess she doesn't want to fade into obscurity, because if she does, all of the terrible things she's done to her face and body don't make any sense.
I don't know. I guess you can't really lead a normal life after
No, you can't.
she's led. It's hard to just, just, I don't know, whatever a normal life is for her.
Yeah, exactly. When you're at that level, I'm guessing they do go, like, super celebrities have pretty horrible lives a lot of the time because they can't do anything that normal people can do. Yeah. And whilst they can do some pretty insane things that normal people can't do, I think a lot of the time they get miserable because, you can't go to a shop when you really need to. When you really fancy a bag of mini eggs, well, you just can't.
It sucks.
You can't. They're out of season.
As we all know.
It's not laying season for mini eggs.
Yeah.
Sorry, where do these come from? I didn't realize these are naturally occurring. Oh yeah,
they grow out the ground.
You never seen a mini egg duck? They come out of ducks. A little tiny duck lives under those pipes that are underneath like turn-ins off motorways. Those ones that go underneath them. Yeah. In there are ducks, and they lay mini eggs, and that's where you get mini eggs from.
Oh, wow, I never knew.
Seasonal.
Amazing. That's why you get all those. Those traffic police. They aren't police. They're just traffic enforcement officers. Those are the guys that are charged with going down there with these big, like, when you see people cooking giant paellas and they have those big like paddles, they use those to sweep the mini eggs out from the pipes.
It must be really satisfying.
And have you been part of the egg yielding process?
I've never been a part of it because it's a bit like Morris Men. You have to join it.
You have to really you need go through it.
Work for it. Okay.
There's a lot of like weird pagan shit involved. And frankly, I just won't wear bells. I think it makes me.
Your thing. You don't like people to know when you're coming.
Yeah, exactly. It's the ultimate anti-stealth thing, and I can't be doing with that. But found an air tag up my arse last week.
Oh no!
Who's this? Me.
Whose is this?
I've lost my air
tag. How'd you get it up there?
It's an air tag in a condom.
Shit. Yeah. All right. Well. Okay. Are you happy with that? That's a nice little end to it, isn't it?
That's some weird, funny news. Yeah, there's some other stories, of course. We can save them for next week.
We can save them. Do you want a quick picture of my cat?
Yeah. Again, another incentive to watch the.
You definitely should watch it
on the HatChamp YouTube channel.
Exactly. You're missing out on Trott showing us a picture of his pussy.
Yeah.
Check out my puss.
I think he's posted his pussy on Twitter as well. So you can see how cute and adorable that cat is.
You're going to create an NFT of it like Madonna.
Describe your cat for anyone listening, though. Like, what cat is it? What kind of
it's a Maine Coon. So it's got very pointy ears, very long ears, massive paws, and they're kind of like a mottled variety of greys and blacks and splodges of white and bits of orange as well. And you've got a very pink nose. Very cute.
It's quite a scary looking cat, really. Isn't it?
I don't know.
You scared of that?
Very cute.
You scared of this?
Like, it's got very severe features. Like, I mean, I know that's what Maine Coons look like, but in a way, like, they're quite like.
Are you scared? You're gonna go in there, just get away from me.
If that cat's
you're like
head
a mountain lion
appeared above you, you're lying in bed, it's dark, and just that cat's head appears in front of you, right? You're not going to go, You think that's a
really cute cat?
Yeah, it's like got
it's
smile.
Cool. It's a cool cat. I think it's a cool. Like I like it.
The thing is, it's going to get big.
Cat.
Do you reckon it'll be bigger than Mochi?
Yes, it'll be longer than Mochi.
Longer than Mochi. That's crazy.
Maybe hilarious.
That'll be funny.
Is it a boy or a girl?
Girl.
Yeah.
Okay. The boys get a little bit bigger, don't they?
They do get massive, but apparently this kitten is big for a female.
And how many months before they hit full size, do you think? Or how many
Apparently
years?
It takes 2 years for Maine Coons to reach their optimum size.
Wow,
and there's like in the last half of a year or so, they're like they reach their maximum length, but they're still quite skinny. Then suddenly they hench up at the end. So yeah.
Are they bulking en masse?
They get
Tacking
bulky.
en masse? Is it going to be an inside cat? You're going to let it go out in the kitchen, in the garden? What's the plan?
if I do, it'll be with a harness.
Okay.
Because they're quite inquisitive and they probably would find holes that I never knew existed.
Hey, is that why you're keeping it inside? Dirty bugger.
Finding holes I didn't know existed.
I knew that one existed.
Do you think Mochi would eat her food as well, or?
She'd certainly try. Yes.
How would you go for that? Like, I've only got one pet to deal with. But if you had two, I feel like they'd be squabbling over each other's food, regardless of whether it's a cat or dog on the food label.
In order to retain my alpha dominance, I'd eat both of their meals in front of them.
Right. Good. Okay. You will be top dog.
What is yours?
Yummy.
What have you created?
Here's yours. Fuck you.
What have you created, like a Harry Potter point style system where you awarded points to each
we
house?
can't go one episode.
Harry Potter. Why did you bring
then
that up?
You just change the numbers from like 10 points to Gryffindor is 10 grams of food for
10 grams to Ripley.
The dog. Yes, exactly. I think they'd learn pretty quick.
Shall I make them fight in an arena for food?
Well,
we're going to have to see some kind of battle. No weapons allowed. Although I guess she's already armed with weapons. Cats have got
I've been scratched already. Yeah.
I could enter Randy mounted on Dorito with a lance. So imagine a gecko sat on the back of Dorito with like a little helmet, like Gex the gecko, basically a humanoid version of a gecko. Yeah. He's got a long lance. It's all like got little like colors and barding on it. He looks very good. And then he's on Dorito. Dorito's there, this giant beast, and he's astride it with his legs. And they charge. And then instantly the cat
just get torn apart, organs spilled all over. You got some real nice pictures for Instagram moments before they got decimated by a cat.
Absolutely destroyed by a cat.
Come rolling through, we can get Murph to roll through and just fall them all over.
Yeah.
The fucking clumsy dog.
You just step on them.
He just
stomp on them.
Finishes off whatever's left of Dorito, just chucks it back. Like, what was this? That tasted weird.
Ooh.
Spits out the little hat.
Yeah. Jesus.
Well, there you go. That's how it would happen.
We shouldn't have pets, so we're going to fight them all.
No.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
I need to develop some better armor.
I think so. Yeah.
Shielding.
Yeah.
Maybe some drones.
Imagine a cat. I've developed a cat-proof armor system for my lizard.
Just in a
send him
Zorb.
out at night.
Or a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we could put them in a Zorb and then like you say, fly a drone up and hold it up so it can then see the world from a different perspective.
Yeah, I bet it would love
It's dangerous
it.
as fuck, but then I guess if it came down, it'd just bounce and it'd just get a bit shaken up.
Just a bit.
One of my hamsters when I was a child was in a ball and it fell off the work surface and dropped like 4 feet. It stunned it and then blinded it.
Fucking hell!
So I wouldn't say it would survive in a fun way.
Well, we wrapped it in bubble wrap, arms and legs, body, bubble wrap inside a Zorb that was floating.
You can try. I mean,
a double-layered Zorb which had
claws.
a spongy layer, so if it did bounce, it's fine. Helmet as well. Look, we can really create quite a system here. I just want to see it fly.
Let's get SpaceX on the blower.
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm. Let's brainstorm some stuff.
Lizard in space.
I mean, what we could do. I mean, we obviously can't use a real animal. But we could try and we can get a load of rocket motors, those ones that you use in like model rockets.
Oh, yeah.
And we could try and design a rocket that would lift the payload of Randy. Randy's only about 55, 60 grams. So we definitely could develop a rocket.
That'd be easy.
Theoretically.
Then we could move up to Murphy size so long as
what
it can
we
take
need
20 kilograms.
Oh, God.
So
how does he weigh?
19 kilos.
Yeah, I mean,
he's like a chunky little boy.
Those rocket motors lift about 30 grams each, probably 30 to 50 grams. So
okay, maybe not then.
We'd need 1,900 grams, right?
Need a lot.
So you'd need like hundreds of these motors, and they become such a huge fire hazard when you've got 100 motors igniting at once.
I imagine they'd all, even if they were just all attached like separately, they would all just start flying all over the place. Payloads just kind of just holding it down.
Ooh, and we're
just flying all over a place on strands.
3 years later, we're still developing this fucking thing. Right, so we've got to develop a gantry. Wow, we can tell why rocket science is so hard. Okay, start the cooling to stop the rocket motors from burning the bottom of the. It's like dry ice.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love it though.
If we can fit it in the warehouse, let's get it going.
That would be a project.
It would.
It's a project and a half. Yeah.
Something to think about.
It's just like fireworks in the warehouse.
Yeah, basically.
Duck.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in today. Particular thanks to the Fingal creator, who is, of course, the only Caleb Rowland. Thank you very much.
Caleb.
The full song will be playing momentarily. And then also, if you'd like to send in your own Fingals, hatch@hat-films.com. Or if you've got some funny news, ding dong, same email. There you go, send that in. And also, a big thanks to our patrons who get credited at the end of this video. If you need to see the video, man, it's something else. It's incredible. There's so much visual stuff going on.
Honestly, our faces, you can see them.
Crazy. So yeah, tune in every week on Fridays, and we'll be back next week.
Indeed.
As per usual. Have a great week, everybody, and bye for now.
Bye.